Hi everyone, welcome to I'm a Recruiter. I'm your host, Prafula Deuri. I'm a Recruiter is a community created by and for talent acquisition professionals. Our vision is to build a leading global community for TA professionals. And our mission is to help TA professionals grow from a traditional recruiter to a trusted talent advisor. If you find our content is useful, please support us by liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting on our channel. So today we have a very special guest, right? But before talking about our guest, ever wonder how companies like Flipkart or Byju find their amazing talent? Well, we have got one of the secret here today. Please welcome Abhay Mishra, a recruitment guru with over 6+ years of experience and knack for finding a right people for the right roles. His current work is with Amrit Cement Limited, but his journey includes stints at United Nations and get this, he is a certified chef as well. Maybe he can give us more tips on recruiting as well as some of the best tips about the kitchen as well. So welcome to I'm Recruiter show, Abhay. We are really excited to have you in our podcast today.
Thanks a lot, Prafula, for such a warm welcome. Yeah, definitely, it's a good thing what I have learned about I'm a recruiter community. Because I think somewhere or other, we even thought of starting this sort of communities, but yeah, we are not even able to manage the times and everything according to that. So yeah, thanks a lot for the warm welcome, Prafula. So
Happy one.
basically, I'm born from the steel city of India, which is known as Bhilai,
Okay.
and which is famous for the Bhilai steel plant.
Yes.
Yeah. So I basically have done my schooling from there, but yeah, post 11th I have studied in Kota, Rajasthan, as well as in different parts of India for the schooling, college, and the job purpose.
Okay. So आपका education background क्या है? What is your education background basically?
Okay, so I'm a BTech graduate in computer science and engineering.
Okay.
And if I have to say, I'm an accidentally turned into an HR.
कैसे
So
हुआ?
I have never thought of, कि I want to become an HR or something during the time when, generally post our class 12, I wanted to become a pilot.
Okay.
But yeah, there were some of the incidents which happened and I have to, take into the BTech computer science and engineering and post that thing like, here I am working as a TA specialist.
Okay. So basically मेरा भी background BTech से ही है. So even I have done my
Okay.
BTech. Initially when during my 12th even I was not having any clue कि क्या करना है लाइफ में. So PCM भी कर, तो मेडिकल भी इंजीनियरिंग भी. उसके बाद फिर मेडिकल तो हुआ नहीं, फिर AEEE में रैंक, बट उस टाइम पे ना कम्युनिकेशन है सर. मुझे तो बेसिकली ये था कि मुझे इंजीनियरिंग में कुछ मजा नहीं आया कोडिंग वगैरह, तो उसके बाद मैंने
So post that thing, मतलब ये सारी चीजें फादर से डिस्कस हुई and everything. Was like, why don't you look for some other opportunities or something? या अगर किसी और चीज में करियर आगे बढ़ा. And the time when I did the BTech, it was like कि हर घर में पूछो कौन क्या कर रहा है तो BTech कंप्यूटर साइंस लेना है सबको. उस टाइम पे
वही
इट वाज
वही
अ
वही
क्रेज लाइक कि हाँ सीएस लेना है एंड मी कमिंग फ्रॉम अ सिटी इट वाज लाइक कि बड़े ऑफिसेज में काम करना है. वी हैव सीन इन द वीडियोस एंड एवरीथिंग. सो इट वाज लाइक कि have to do like this. But उसके बाद फिर चीजें ऐसी हुई कि I did a certification in the culinary arts and for the course of around 6 months I was working with the one of the best resort property in Mauritius.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my internship time, but I was taking care of the whole this thing Indian kitchen there. So I did that thing and उसके बाद फिर suddenly COVID hit and कि father was like कि अब abroad तो नहीं जाना है, तेरे को जो करना है इंडिया में कर.
अच्छा.
So I thought of starting a career which is much more where I get to interact with the people. I can हर दिन एक new challenging if I have to say. Basically that happens. अब अचानक से दिमाग में क्लिक किया कि okay HR बनना है because during my college time I was working with the United Nations. I can say it's a world largest youth-run organization named as an ISEC.
Okay.
So I was an ISECer and I used to take care of the recruitment for the OGVs part and the IGV. There were several departments. So I used to take care of the talent acquisition basically for the recruitment, for the PR thing, for generating the revenue. So I work in every department if I have to say. For
Okay.
sales, PR, networking. We used to go to different colleges, give the seminars about the student, the career counseling related to if someone is from the engineering management. I was like, this thing excites me. And that's how I was like, कि HR बनना है. And at that moment of time, even I was not aware. And that's it. Coming from a BTech background, what should I be aware of? कि नहीं
क्या
हमारे लिए तो
होता है?
HR वही थे कि who has taken the interviews for us during the internship time.
We'll do the same thing.
Yes. So I understood that. I was like, how to start and all those things. Then I started applying through the LinkedIn, into the various companies and everything. Then I got one of the offer from the MNCs. They asked me about the package, and as I came, working from I was not having the basis पे इस market salary पे चीजें होती है. If I have to see college placement हो रहा है 45 lakh 50 lakh, वो mindset था ही नहीं. So I randomly asked him a big X figure of amount. She started laughing, कि this is not the pay of the HR here and everything. I was like, okay, I was just, मतलब मैं बाकी coming from a BTech background and all those things, I was not even aware कि क्या salary brackets and everything. But yeah, I'm okay whatever you are suggesting me. And then she stopped picking up my call and उसके बाद चीजें ऐसी And that's the thing what always a recruiter do, Yeah. So उसके बाद I got an offer from one of the startup based out of Odisha and who works for the whole India. I started taking care of the recruitment, and suddenly I got, the things of developing the whole recruitment process for that organization.
Okay.
It was just a startup, seed round startup, who basically main of the project was with the whole India.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I did that thing, and फिर COVID के बाद से vendors का there was a lot of issues and everything. Then I got an offer from Byju's. I worked there for a quite very long time, and if I have to say, everyone is aware about the Byju's
Yes.
again, right?
Yes.
But I have learned a lot of things, into the Byju's, especially about the recruitment, if I have to say. So there were certain, वहाँ पे structured होते थे कि whenever you are joining as a recruiter, you have to join as a R0, then R1, then R2. So you have to be a perfection, into the doing a screening call. Yeah, certainly we do used to have a targets and everything. But the main thing what I have learned from, उस चीजों से कि is conversion ratio. We never used to have a focus, and the team which I have worked, with the Byju, we used to have a healthy competition among ourselves. So it was not सब फ्रेशर थे या 1 साल 2 साल एक्सपीरियंस वाले थे, and we became a friend very soon, and it was like, कि चीजें फिर we started to have a healthy competition. Then my phase was very of a less time with Byju's. It was around 4 5 months, I can say, because post that thing, EdTech was on a downfall at that moment of time. I got an offer from the Flipkart, so I decided to quit that thing. But yeah, if about taking the interviews, screening the candidates properly, about enhancing my sourcing platforms, everything was, I have learned throughout my tenure with the Byju's and how to work under the pressure. Yeah, so that was the thing. So throughout my life into the recruitment, so someone, they generally do ask me कि इतना pressure है. So there were some of the incidents whom I have hired, and they were like, 1 week में they have put down the paper कि we are in anxiety, we are not even able to, hold up the things and बाकी चीजें. So generally for me, like, I try to find out the solutions, and I think कि the best thing about me is I can work under the pressure on. I do work well under the target, because throughout my life journey I do have a competition with me. I generally, have a competition with me कि ठीक है आज ये चीजें हुई हैं, तो how can I implement the next thing? And these were the things which I have done, and I think कि somewhere or other we used to have, see our track where it is going on.
Yes.
So especially on the weekdays, I do have a habit of the time when I was doing, the core recruitment, if I have to say, end-to-end recruitment. At that one time, in every, in my week of day, I used to have my own analysis of the task, what I have done this week and what I am going to implement in the next week. So whether it's about the conversion ratio, whether it's about the offer decline ratio, ये सारी चीजें मैं खुद का निकालता हूँ कि लास्ट वीक और
बायजू में क्या किस टाइप का रोल पे?
I used to do the sales hiring
Okay.
for the BDA, BDTs, and it was like कि वहाँ targets तो थे कि joinees देने हैं. I need to ask the candidate to, come for the interviews, I would say. It was like कि certain recruiters have a targets, R0 के targets हैं, तो they have the calling targets, shortlisting candidates profiles के targets थे, and dialed call, connected calls के भी थे.
Okay.
So it was the
मतलब
thing.
उसमें स्पेसिफिक क्या-क्या नंबर है? सो दैट ऑडियंस को भी पता चले कि
Okay, so
मतलब
180 dialed calls,
18
at
में
least minimum 10, yeah, 10
180.
shortlists, yeah, dialed calls.
Okay.
Yeah. So those were also the things. Okay, so basically हुआ था कि we used to see the candidate's family background. So suppose
Okay.
if I'm from a very good family, I'm not going to do a sales sort of job for
Hmm.
35 40,000 rupees.
Hmm, hmm,
If
hmm,
I'm
hmm.
from a business family, why I will do the sales for some other tech company? So ये था, there were certain criteria how we used to catch the candidate whether he or she will be able to do that thing or not.
Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
I think कि the time when they were teaching us, I was like कि इसकी क्या जरूरत पड़ती होगी. But yeah, post that thing, when I'm growing in my career, I felt like,
अब
कि
एहसास
नहीं,
हो रहा
ये these all are the things which is making me help, grow in my career.
है। Okay. ठीक है।
Yeah.
तो एक एक हाथ में कुछ आई थिंक 15 या 14 के आसपास पर महीने मिलता
Okay.
था। तो जब आपने स्टार्ट किया था, व्हाट वाज योर रफली पैकेज?
So during my tenure with the ISEC, I was not paid for 1.5 years because that's the first thing.
ओके, ओके।
And they, as
हाँ, हाँ,
compared to
हाँ,
India.
हाँ।
But here, if I see like, कि जो recruiters and everything, what I have seen, in the market standard, it's just because there is a very less technical skills involved into the recruitment sector. What I felt like, what I have heard कि आपको generally when I take the interviews, either for my reporting person or for some, other HR, कि आप HR में आए क्यों? They were not even able to answer कि why they came into an HR.
वो तो
So
है।
I always say कि आप आइए, मिलिए इस HR.
एचआर में ठीक है, मूविंग अहेड विद इंटरेस्ट ऑफ टाइम। सो यू हैव वर्कड विद सच अ डाइवर्स एनवायरनमेंट लाइक जैसे फ्लिपकार्ट में, यूएन पे भी पहले। सो हाउ हैव दिस एक्सपीरियंस शेप्ड योर अप्रोच टू रिक्रूटमेंट? जैसे आपका पुराना बैकग्राउंड का यूएन का फिर फ्लिपकार्ट का एक्सपीरियंस हुआ, फिर बायजूस का एक्सपीरियंस हुआ, तो ओवरऑल रहा क्या लर्निंग रहा उन सब से?
Okay, so I'll just narrate a small story to you,
यस।
which is actually a true story which happened to my life. The thing is कि at the United Nations में when I will not say कि that was the core recruitment, but सारी चीजें उसमें overall developed थी, like the having a connect with the LCs, generating the revenue, सारे part involved थे. Core talent acquisition I would not say कि वहाँ पे था. Actually the thing, कि जब when I joined Flipkart, I got the opportunity of working for the Walmart batch price. So I joined there as a regional recruiter for the UP market. I
ओके।
used to handle the 5 stores for the UP market, and there were some of the people who joined with me. They were also like, the core fresher generally. And फिर कुछ the market were not good and the hiring got freeze for the Flipkart. So basically, there were 4 people and 3 were from the Byju's and one was already working with the Walmart. So एक बॉन्ड था हमारे साथ, चूँकि हम सो देयर वर एक्चुअल सिनेरियो इनटू द सेल्स। आई वाज़ नॉट इवन अवेयर कि चूँकि बायजूस तक में तो आई यूज्ड टू बी ओनली द इंटरव्यूअर। आई हैव टू सेलेक्ट द कैंडिडेट एंड सेंड द कैंडिडेट टू द ऑनबोर्डिंग टीम, एंड उसके बाद वो पर्टिकुलरली टीम्स में एलोकेट हो जाएँगे। यहाँ पे स्टेक होल्डर मैनेजमेंट वाज़ इन्वॉल्व्ड।
Okay.
So the
Okay.
first thing was coming from a Byju जहाँ सर मैम का, so the first thing which I changed after joining the Flipkart was this thing. Second thing, it was like कि sourcing तो हमारी, but उस time पे major of the hiring was done by the vendor itself.
Okay.
So
Okay.
us being a TA partner, it was like just we have to the forward the CVs to the relevant interviewers into the store level and align this candidate for the face-to-face round of interviews there. We did that thing, but the ratio, offer decline ratio, or I would say the rejection ratio was very high.
Okay.
Suppose if I have shared 15 CVs, none of the candidate will be getting selected. And as per the JD, it was like कि आपको प्रॉपर रोल्स डेजिग्नेशन विद इन द टारगेटेड एफएमसीजी बैकग्राउंड एंड एवरीथिंग वी हैव टू डू। आई वाज लाइक कि ये सारी चीजें तो की क्वालिटीज हैं एंड एवरीथिंग। सो दे वर लाइक अराउंड जीरो, एंड उसके बाद देयर वाज, आई विल नॉट say the name and everything, but there was an incident happened. I was into the meeting, मेरे मैनेज so my manager was not aware कि टीम लीड हमको मीटिंग में बुला के रखी है, एंड द
अच्छा.
बिजनेस वांटेड कि सारी टीम के साथ भी मीटिंग इन्वॉल्व हो, लाइक द टीए पार्टनर एज वेल,
Okay.
into the weekly review calls and everything. So post that जब वो मीटिंग कंप्लीट हुई, it was like कि my manager was like कि मैं सबको बिजनेस के सामने प्रेजेंट कर सकता हूँ, बट व्हाई अभय? So at that point in time I was suffering with the blood allergy, so I was not even able to basically grow myself, and it was just like some medicine got reacted to me, and I was not medically well at that moment of
Mm-hmm.
time. So I felt somewhere or other कि बाकी, and I was the person who was holding a much more experience when I joined there,
Mm-hmm.
the largest experience in my team. And this is how he was like he basically pointed out on my look कि मैं उसको कैसे लेके मतलब बिजनेस के सामने.
Okay. Okay.
And this
Okay.
where somewhere or other, I felt like putting down the papers, because something taking, onto the dignity was something not well. And he was
Mm-hmm.
totally aware, I was on a medication and everything, but then also
Mm-hmm.
I was coming home. So I was like कि जितनी बड़ी कंपनी हो उतनी चीजें टॉक्सिक होती है, what I felt like at that moment of time.
Mm-hmm.
पोस्ट दैट थिंग चीजें हुई, देयर वाज वन ऑफ माय टीम, आई मतलब मैं डेली ऑफिस से फ्रस्ट्रेटेड लेवल इस लेवल पे था कि पेपर डालना है, पेपर वाज लाइक आई डिड दैट थिंग एक दिन मीटिंग पे कि आप या तो कल तक,
Okay.
एंड ही वाज आल्सो शॉक। फिर उसके बाद थोड़ा सा चीजें थोड़ी मैनेजमेंट को, फ्लिपकार्ट के मैनेजमेंट को हाईलाइट हुई, द थिंग व्हाटएवर दैट मैनेजर वाज डूइंग, ही वाज आउट ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एंड वी वर अंडर लाइक वी वर हैविंग सम ऑफ द अदर रिपोर्टिंग, हमारे ट्रांसपेरेंसी में काम होने लग गया था चीजें, एंड आई जस्ट once as a I have suggested this thing previous also, but I told you right कि मैनेजर मतलब वो थोड़ा सा नॉर्थ साउथ को लेके था, तो
अच्छा.
एज
कहाँ का
पर
था
हिज
मैनेजर?
इंट्यूशन,
साउथ साउथ का?
तो उनके अंडर आए वॉक इन ड्राइव बोला, मैंने तो बोल तो दिया था हवे में कि वॉक इन ड्राइव करना है, बट आई वाज नॉट इवन अवेयर कि हाउ टू डू द वॉक इन ड्राइव। आई डिड अ रिसर्च फॉर ऑल दोस थिंग्स दैट आर रन द वॉक इन बैनर सोर्सिंग प्लेटफॉर्म, थी सारी चीजें, एंड इट वाज सक्सेसफुल फॉर माय रीजन।
Okay.
And I think on that single day I realized like there were 2 days which drive happened, and it was around 28 offers for a single recruiter जहाँ पे पहले पूरी, I don't know how happened this thing, I was like कि टीम से बात की, बैनर्स रन करवा रहे हैं उनके व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पे, there is a walk-in drive for the BDA sales and everything which was going on, and I was not aware कि मतलब drive हो गया। At the end when I was collating the data I came to know that 27 offers आते हैं,
Okay. That year.
and I got a confidence, I started doing it, and suddenly फिर मेरे मैनेजर ने बोला कि आप लोग एक बार ट्रैवल करो and fill the positions.
Okay.
So the first city where I went, it was Raipur, मतलब from where I belong to, and वहाँ पे
Okay.
मेरी पोजीशन नहीं हुआ। I was like मैनेजमेंट को where the costing is involved and बाकी चीजें, what I'm going to tell, but आगे whatever store we did, it happened successfully. And attrition rate was very high क्योंकि उस समय Jio was there onto the market, पे Walmart के employees and everyone, they were just pulling it, and salary wise they were offering us as compared to what we used to offer उससे ज़्यादा salary, so everyone was going
जियो.
there, सारी चीजें, हाँ उस,
वॉलमार्ट का
sorry,
स्टोर भी है क्या अलग-अलग प्लेसेस?
Walmart Best Price we do have 29 stores throughout the pan India.
ओके. ओके.
Best
मुझे
Price,
पता नहीं.
it's just like
ओके.
the DMart store,
ओके.
but they work into only B2B
ओके.
platform.
ओके. ओके.
So
गॉट.
उसके बाद we travel to all these locations, वहाँ पे best thing what I felt like into the recruitment, अगर suppose if I have a face to face contact with any of the person, एक bond
वो तो बहुत
with your
जरूरी.
stakeholder, and when they met me, it was like कि vacancies आ रही हैं उससे पहले, that was the thing for the UP market, and UP got sorted, throughout the time when I was in Flipkart, कब भी attrition जहाँ पे if I have to say the attrition percentage per week, it was more than 50% of attrition. So we 4 recruiters we used to work onto the vacancy of 120, 130.
ओके. ओके.
Yeah, it had gone till 220 to 30 per week,
ओके.
but not less than 100 throughout the time when I worked. So attrition was that much high. So generally I got rejected, when I left the Flipkart, when I was giving the interviews, the people rejected me because how can be 50% as an attrition, and that too per week, I was saying. And then we did, my team supported me. I got a new team. I started managing the project. And then my friend told me, कि see, that manager was telling you will not be able to present the business. मतलब business को आप present नहीं कर पाओगे टीए की टीम से, and now here you are presenting. So basically, she boosted my confidence a lot. She supported me a lot, throughout my journey, because चीजें को, she was having a personality of, she was an MBA in HR, but working as a salesperson, then accidentally moved into a TA. And she was like, within a 1 year of span, I think she was competing with me, with the joinees.
ओके.
It was a moment of time when the people, wherever the interviews are going, कि अबे सर आप आ जाओ, इनको मत भेजो.
क्यों?
हम करके देंगे, मत भेजो आप वॉक इन ड्राइव, हम आपकी वैकेंसीज क्लोज।
कि बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट थी क्या?
इट वाज लाइक यू हैव टू बी फ्रूटफुल टू योरसेल्फ। तो उसके बाद मैंने ना पूरा वॉलमार्ट का बिजनेस समझा, व्हाट एक्चुअली इट इज ऑल अबाउट।
ओके,
चीजें
ओके,
क्या होती हैं, आई वेंट विद द पीपल, द बीडीएस हु आर वर्किंग देयर, आई वेंट विद देम टू द मार्केट, कि किस क्लाइंट में या किस वर्टिकल में लोग किस लोगों से मिल रहे हैं, व्हाट आर देयर एक्चुअल टारगेट, व्हाट दे हैव टू अचीव। एंड दैट्स हाउ आई स्टार्टेड टारगेटिंग द रेलेवेंट सीवीज, रेलेवेंट कैंडिडेट्स ड्यूरिंग द ट्रेनिंग कॉल्स, इंटरव्यूज के टाइम पे। एंड दैट्स हाउ वी हैव सीन लाइक पहली बार जो व्हेन आई जॉइंड, it was 90% of vendor usage. I reduced that costing to 0%, and that too into the bulk hiring. Yeah, traveling was a hectic for us.
ओके,
मतलब
ओके,
कंटिन्यूअस 15 डेज 20 डेज अगर हम ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं, वी हैव टू शेड्यूल द वॉक इन डेज एंड पोस्ट दैट थिंग, इवन हैव टू रिलीज द ऑफर्स एज वेल। तो ये चीजें थी, बट हाँ, एक दिन भी ऐसा नहीं लगा कि यार सुबह उठ के ऑफिस जाना है। द फर्स्ट थिंग, इट वाज सच अ गुड टीम ऑफ द टीए पीपल इन फ्लिपकार्ट with whom I have worked. And the best thing is, I have been guided with the person, basically. Her name is Romi Dutt, and she was the first, the time when the Flipkart has started.
ओके,
And she
ओके,
was very supportive, about the thing. Strict actions लेना है, मतलब अगर if ever we are telling her, she will definitely give us the resolution. But उनके पास problem लेके मत जाओ, solution भी लेके जाओ, and then she will give her over.
ओके, ओके, ओके,
Yeah. And at there was a guy, Varda, हमारा coffee connect होता था उनके साथ, he used to ask a lot of things. Events होते थे, चीजें मतलब, and there were lot of, जब हमारी टीम के पास हायरिंग आती थी, I think कि every person of the TA team have came into that Walmart वाले hiring vertical पे, and they left within a week. That was the pressure, and trust me, I used to sit and work only for 2 hours in a day, and even my team.
ओके,
हाँ,
ओके,
अगर एक्चुअल में if I have to count, आज हम 2 ढाई घंटे ही काम करते थे एक्चुअल में, and the hiring, the business was happy, everything was like in a very smooth way.
चलो,
And suddenly my manager, she was also shocked. She was like कि पहले तो इतना गुस्सा होते थे मैनेजमेंट ये वो, अब ऐसा क्यों नहीं? आई वाज लाइक आप चिल करो, जैसा चल रहा है चलने दो।
ओके, ओके, ओके,
And the people, like if I have to say, the sales leaders, the senior managers, or it might be of finance, it might be the account, it might be the associate. I was having a very good time with them.
ओके,
You know,
ओके। सो
because the first thing
हैविंग
is कि I
रिलेशनशिप इज
do,
डेफिनेटली इंपॉर्टेंट
yes,
मीन्स।
yes, and the thing is कि I do understand, कि might be they are occupied with the higher the position, the उस levels की meetings होती हैं, and it would be difficult for कि for them as well to be available on the call. तो कभी कभार ऐसा होता था कि मेरे को रात को 9 बजे 10 बजे 11 बजे I used to pick up the call, 6 बजे आ जा रहे हैं कभी मॉर्निंग, I was never tense, क्यों इस टाइम पे कॉल आ रहा है, मैं क्या जवाब दूँ, वो नहीं कुछ। They used to talk freely, मतलब चीज़ें थी। It was a two way, and that was just through, I would say, the bond, understanding of the business, and the third thing is, have a trust on myself as well as your team, कि भाई हम कर लेंगे, चीज़ें हो जाती हैं। There were scenarios like I think 2 times. When I went to Kanpur, there was no, this thing, stores नहीं है वहाँ पे,
ओके,
basically. So I conducted the interview in front of a park for
अच्छा,
around more than 150, 180 interviews. Yeah. And that too in the month of May, June. And one time in Ghaziabad, in the month of May,
स्टोरी नहीं,
April.
इंटरव्यू।
हाँ, मतलब वी यूज्ड टू कॉल फॉर द वॉक इन डाइव, तो जनरली स्टोर में क्या होता है कि हम स्टोर पे बुला लेते हैं।
ओके,
बट गाजियाबाद टू मेरठ और लखनऊ टू कानपुर देयर इज अ ह्यूज डिस्टेंस,
ओके,
एंड हमको
ओके।
प्रॉपर कानपुर के ही लोग चाहिए कि हु कैन अंडरस्टैंड द दिस थिंग, द मार्केट वेरी वेल। अब 50 लोग को बुलाऊंगा तो वो आएंगे नहीं, इससे अच्छा
हाँ,
एक
हाँ,
आदमी वहां जाके इंटरव्यूज करे। आई
हुँ,
आस्क्ड
हुँ,
द स्टेक होल्डर्स, दे वर विद मी थ्रू आउट एवरी टाइम, मतलब मॉर्निंग 10-11 बजे इंटरव्यू स्टार्ट किए, 5-6 बजे तक
ओके, ओके।
इनटू द हॉट समर डेज। दिस सॉर्ट ऑफ, बट उसके बाद भी ये नहीं लगा कि यार ऑफिस क्यों जा रहे हैं, क्या हो रहा है, कुछ नहीं। इट वाज अ
सो
वेरी गुड थिंग।
इससे एक एक चीज़ तो क्लियर हो गया कि अच्छा लीडर होना बहुत ज़रूरी है लाइफ में।
यस,
लाइक फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल जो पास्ट का लीडर था, जो आपको डाउट करता था, प्लस आपका जो बाद के लीडर थे, हू सपोर्टेड यू अ लॉट, राइट?
यस,
So definitely having a strong leadership will help you grow in your career as well.
राइट,
So since we are talking about leadership, right? So recently we had heard about the news about Ratan Tata sir, right? He was also known for his leadership and his ability to identify and nurture great talent, right? क्योंकि वो काफी लोगों को पहचान जाते थे and because of that we have seen how the company have grown to different limit altogether. So
यस।
what lesson you have learned from this legend, right? Especially in terms of leadership, in terms of recruiting, in terms of creating a good positive environment.
Okay. So the first thing is like, what I have heard, and I would say कि every manager or someone, I think every individual who is, the first thing is like have a faith on yourself. Be always grounded, be always grounded. It's not about, I would say, related to the monetary thing, which generally comes into a person's mind, but yeah, about the position, about the power. So suppose if coming from a recruiter, if I would have said कि जैसे मेरे को suddenly वो Walmart की चीजें मिली, and I would have, been through the thing like, कि जो friends हैं, now they are my reportees and all those things, तो अब मैं जो चाहूँ मैं वो कर सकता हूँ। So that would not have mattered, मतलब हो सकता है कि वो मेरा वहाँ से I treated them, always listen to the people. It was not like कि आपको experience से ही ज़्यादा चीजें पता चलती हैं, I would say, into the recruitment as well. There are some of the ideas, always do the brainstorming with the teams and everything. So suppose you know about the youngest manager, Shantanu Naidu, right? Of the
Yes,
Ratan Tata.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So I was yesterday in the night, I was, actually going through how he met and about how he became so close, to the Ratan Tata sir and everything. So it was like he just, he saw him taking care of a dog. He used to be a manufacturer of a radium belt for the stray dogs,
Yes,
and
yes,
funding
yes.
की problem हो रही थी, and he saw one day, and he was also very close to dogs. So it was like, he did that thing and he was able to do everything. And right now, if I have to say about the Tata Group, if you will ever see, around us make a 360 turn around you will find a lot of products what we are using,
Yeah,
and what we can rely on, whether it's about Big Basket, whether it's about Air India, whether it's about Voltas, whether it's about having a Tata car, all those things,
everywhere, right?
So he's into the everywhere sector. And the second thing, if you are aware of the Ford story,
Yep, yep, yep.
when he much more into bikes and cars, so this year somewhere or other, it excites me as well. And the thing is, he went to Ford, they rejected, they are like कि अगर आपको इंटरेस्ट नहीं था तो आप इस बिजनेस
Okay, okay, okay.
into the car manufacturing, अगर आपको नॉलेज नहीं थी तो आप क्यों आए इस चीजों में. And post that thing, when the Ford went bankrupt and everything, Tata was the one who bought it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like we should avoid the negative comments, whatever is going surrounded by ourselves, and we just have to focus on to the positive side. And what I do believe कि हर सिक्के के दो पहलू हैं, पॉजिटिव भी है, नेगेटिव भी है. आपको है कि आपके
Yep, yep,
so
yep.
a lot of, especially into the TA, a lot of people tell, कि HR ऐसे होते हैं, HR वैसे होते हैं. I was like, yeah, positive और negative दो चीजें देख रहे हैं. I would take that as a positive note, not as a negative note. कोई भी चीजें,
Yes,
whether it's
yes,
about my
yes.
personal feedback, whether it's about, talking to the people, जो भी चीजें, सुनो सबकी करो अपनी. But
Yes, yes.
that's the best thing what I have learned from my father.
Yep, yep. So एक चीज जो मैंने रतन टाटा सर से सीखा है, with one of his interview, सिमी गरेवाल के साथ उन्होंने एक इंटरव्यू पे कहा था कि उनका पेरेंट्स डिवोर्स थे, है ना? ही वाज इन यूएस कंप्लीटिंग हिज आर्किटेक्ट एंड अदर थिंग्स. उनका रिलेशन उनके दादी या नानी के साथ काफी अच्छा था, राइट?
Right.
जिन्होंने उनको बुलाया इंडिया में, राइट? उस टाइम पे देख सकते थे कि मेरा फैमिली पेरेंट्स का ऐसा ऐसा है, तो मैं क्यों जाऊं? मैं यूएस में भी रह सकता हूँ, मैं उनसे अलग भी रह सकता हूँ. बट
Right.
ही चूज द राइट पार्ट कि उनका जिन्होंने ख्याल रखा लाइफ में. ही केम बैक टू हर ग्रैंड मदर के पास आया. वहां से फिर उन्होंने जब स्टार्ट किया, सारे डिपार्टमेंट पे जाके उन्होंने काम सीखा. तो उन्होंने ये सोचा नहीं कि मैं तो टाटा फैमिली से बिलोंग करता हूँ, मैं हर डिपार्टमेंट पे.
Right.
एंड वो बताया उस इंटरव्यू में, इवन ही वाज हैविंग फूड विद ऑल अदर पीपल इन नॉर्मल कैंटीन एज वेल, राइट? एंड वो साइकिल लेके भी जाते थे बोला. सो मेरा एक लर्निंग जो है, मेरे सबका पर्सनल लाइफ में कुछ ना कुछ इवेंट रहता ही है. इवन मेरी पर्सनल लाइफ में भी मेरे पेरेंट्स का कुछ सिमिलर इवेंट ही है. बट स्टिल वी हैव टू चूज कि हमें क्या मोटिवेट करता है, हमें क्या इंस्पायर करता है, हमें सोसाइटी को क्या देके जाना है. एंड बिकॉज ऑफ
Right.
दिस आई थिंक आई एम ऑल्सो ट्राइंग टू बिल्ड अ कम्युनिटी जहाँ पे वी कैन इम्पैक्ट एज अ टीए कम्युनिटी. सो
Yes.
that was one of the question I wanted to ask about Ratan Tata sir, because it is a great loss for everyone, right? But
Yes.
definitely he will be with us with his experience throughout the love he have provided to everyone and all the leadership things he have done with all the companies he have been. So we will definitely miss him, but he will be there with us in our heart only, right?
Right.
Great. So एक दूसरा क्वेश्चन जो मुझे आपको पूछना है अब, what is the biggest misconception people have about recruiters?
Okay. So basically, okay. So that was a similar incident which happened to me when I recently shifted to Gurgaon. There
Okay.
was a person, he was asked like, "What do you do?" I was like, "I'm into HR." At that point of time, I was taking care of the whole HR. I was like, "I'm an HR." So he was like, "कि कोई वैकेंसी चल रही है क्या?" मैंने बोला, चल रही होगी बट बताओ तो. एंड आई जस्ट मेट दिस गाय रैंडमली, इनटू द पीजी वेयर आई वाज स्टेइंग. सो ही वाज लाइक, आप लोग तो एचआर हो, आप लोग तो ऐसे ही कैंडिडेट ढूंढते हो, तो काम ही है ऑफर रिलीज करना. सो ही मेंशन मी दैट थिंग, एंड आई जस्ट वांट टू टेल एवरीवन कि देयर, सबको सामने वाले की थाली ना भरी हुई दिखाई देती है. So the thing is कि we are not only into the TA professional or an HR, I would say. And being a TA, the first thing I have to be well versed, into the accounts wala part, sales wala, the legal part, compliances part. We have to be on our toe, every time. And we are working on a sort of profile where we can't always be good, we can't be
Yeah.
so much good to the employees and to the management. We are just a bridge. We are connecting, I would say we are just a bridge which we are connecting the management to the employees.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yes.
just like, the 10x TA community, I'm also running my own community, which is HR Bridge. So, I'm
Okay.
basically helping out with the freshers, who are looking for the job, because I have seen there is a lot of scam which is going on into the market, on the
Yes.
fake, of
Yes.
the name of fake job listings and everything, where they demand the amount or something and send the fake offer letter. So, to, especially to cut those things, I have built a community where, the people, the freshers basically, they can be trained how to crack the interviews for XYZ companies, or
Okay.
how they can,
Okay.
work on the things.
Okay. Okay. So tell us a little bit more about the community कि क्या क्या करते हो उसमें exactly, so that like people can learn
Okay,
more about the community as well, right? क्योंकि ये platform
got it.
आपके लिए बहुत useful है, and plus people can learn more about the community as well.
So, okay. So, Praful, it was all about, I just got a random the thing. I'm a part of lot of HR communities right now.
Yes.
and the renowned, I would say. And post that thing, I was like, yeah, I have to do my networking as well. In the
Which is
recruitment,
very
what
important.
we are doing our own networking. During the time of interviews, we are telling ourselves. I would say कि candidate, the main perspective I would say always candidate, whenever they ask me, I was like, we are just a sort of salesperson. Salesperson is basically अपने अगर I would say कि inside sales, they will be selling their product, right, and we are selling the company to a candidate
Yeah.
during the time when we are taking the interviews. And the second thing is we are even buying you, I would say. So suppose if I'm giving an interview to XYZ company, basically I'm selling myself to that company, I would say. You know, the package or the CTC is the amount what I am taking of myself as per the market standard. As per
Yeah.
my knowledge, I would be getting 20K, so that I have a perspective, मुझे इतना है when I will be in a XYZ, any of the other factors, चीजों को लेके. These are the things, and generally we do tell the people, someone is there, we want, I have done the B architecture, so they are the candidates. They have done the BTech or they have done the architecture, but now they are like कि क्या करना है. तो पहले जैसे the time when me and you, I think you are very much older than me. At the time when we started, the thing like everyone asked me why you are into a TA. I always say, कि this is a profession. मैंने randomly choose नहीं किया. I have choose this profession by so salary. Another thing is another matter. The way I'm interacting with the candidates, different candidate, different stories. Every day is a new day for me basically. Recruitment
Yes.
में sales जैसे हर दिन सेम नहीं
हर
होता.
दिन होता है, हर
कभी
दिन.
टारगेट हो रहे हैं, कभी नहीं हो रहे हैं, कभी ऑफर ज्यादा जा रहे हैं, कभी वी हैव टू बी ऑलवेज ग्रो ourselves, वी हैव टू बी अपडेटेड, कि क्या चल रहा है मार्केट में रिलेटेड टू अदर थिंग्स. तो सपोज फ्रॉम द सिटी वेयर आई हैव के वहाँ पे बीटेक बीबीए बीकॉम सपोज दैट थिंग वी केम टू नो कि आर्ट्स की इतनी डिमांड है हमारे यहाँ. तो आर्ट्स ले लिया तो इट वाज लाइक लड़का पढ़ता नहीं है, इसने आर्ट्स लिया, मैथ्स लिया है या बायो लिया है. तो बेसिकली तो माय नीस शी रिसेंटली मूव टू क्लास 11
Okay.
and she was like कि मेरे सारे फ्रेंड मैथ्स ले रहे हैं, मेरे को मैथ्स लेना. Where I feel like कि somewhere or other we have to counsel. I would say कि the people who are right now into the stage of starting their career, basically we have to help them, guide them. जैसे मैं recruiter, I do come a lot of recruiters and everything for the interviews or something. So what I have felt like कि आप recruitment में हो क्यों? Generally if I ask them, they are not even able to answer that thing. So it's like कि somewhere or other मतलब job मिली नहीं है, and I see कि lot of consultancies are active into the Indian markets right now. They will hire anyone. चीजें. तो इट वाज लाइक कि ठीक है रिक्रूटमेंट में आ गए थे तो रिक्रूटमेंट कर रहे हैं या एचआर कर रहे हैं, एंड फॉर 2 months 3 months 6 months they will leave the organization and go
Yes.
चीजें into other domains.
ठीक है.
So what happened into my current company? It happened कि when I got the team was already there and everything. So they were like कि हमको तो ऐसा लग रहा है बीपी और कॉल सेंटर में काम कर रहे हैं हमारे. So the best thing is, and the second thing is कि I can say anything to them whether about their work or anything. But yeah, if I'm in front of any of the business or the management, then whatever has happened, whether we were able to give the deliverables or not, it was all about me. And I generally try to understand कि मतलब क्या चीजें हैं, कहाँ उनको lag behind हो रहा है, कहाँ problems आ रही हैं, कहाँ if they want my support, I am ready to give them my support. So these are the things what I have learned during my tenure with the Flipkart, and right now into the further organizations I'm implementing the same thing. What I have been treated as, to help and grow in my career.
Sure.
So there were people who came with me कि हमको बस ना टीए नहीं सीखना. I do have a much more interest into inductions, onboarding, offboarding, बाकी चीजों को लेके. Some came and they were like कि I do have a keen interest into the payroll thing, not into the TA thing. Sometimes it was they showed me interest like मेरे को legal compliance में ज़्यादा. So I asked them like यार अब देखो अब आपकी hiring तो हुई है core TA के लिए. So I can't ask them कि आप ठीक है आप internal movement लेके चले जाओ and बाकी चीजें. TA करो and trust other things. We will be having a deliverable project. We will be having the taught up sessions basically for you, grooming sessions, where you can understand what that actual work is all about. And that's how even I learned, coordinating with the HR operations team, whether with the payroll team, with the finance team, I came to understand, कि actual में सबका रोल है क्या. So suppose into an HR filling a candidate details and every time, during the time of offer release, मैंने उसका proper name check नहीं किया, कुछ spelling error हो गया या बाकी चीजें हो. So how that is going to make an impact to some other person. अब उसको वहां से editing करना पड़ेगा, चीजें करना पड़ेगा, if it is being done, कहीं गलती हो भी गई है तो it's a human error, it can be rectified. ऐसी तो कोई गलती हुई नहीं है, it can't be rectified. So instead of shouting with them और बाकी चीजें, I try to make them understand, कि कहाँ और ये कैसे क्या impact होगा सामने वाला who is basically with whom we are coordinating the thing. And that's how there is a drastic, the change and everything. And I would say कि basically it's a very good thing to have the best manager in your life.
Yes, of course, agree. Just with interest of time, last दो question पूछ. So, if you could give one piece of advice to job seekers today,
What you love the most is that if you have the talent in anything, I would say it might be a dancing, it might be a chef, it might be XYZ in any of the other careers. Don't go like कि अब the people are getting 1.5 CR के package, 2 CR के package, तो हमें भी मिलेगा या हम भी ये करेंगे. HR में job आराम की है तो I have to come to a HR. Don't go for that sort of thing. Do what you love the most. And if I have to narrate from my life, I did well during my career with the chef as well. I was having a keen interest, in understanding the food thing. And somewhere or other, as I've worked into the hospitality sector, I've worked into, right now I'm working with manufacturing. Previously, I've worked with the e-commerce or the retail or FMCG business. Somewhere or other, वो चीजें मेरे को समझ में आई हैं throughout my career. Somewhere or other, I have, learned those things where I am able to understand the things and do well in my life. I love, talking to the people, and that's the reason I'm working here as an TA, I would say. If you would personally ask me, if you will tell me कि go and you have to do the work of an HR operation, core HR operation, or payroll. I don't have any interest in that thing. My first preference is always a TA because I love interacting with the people, and it's throughout my journey, it's not a single day where I felt why I'm into this profession, and that's the best thing.
Yes, totally agree.
Yeah, I would say कि the fresher they should first try to analyze themselves and do whatever they want. नहीं पता चलेगा आज आसपास के लोग आपको नहीं समझेंगे, which is basically an Indian society, But down the line, 3-4 years, 5 years, whenever you are doing well in your life with the people who are much more experienced than you, then everyone will be able to understand that thing.
Yes, yes. So आपने बोला कि you have been a certified chef as well, right?
Yes.
So
The BTech नहीं सिखाती, उसके अलावा सारी चीजें लाइफ
सारे
में सिखा
सारे
देती है.
सारे okay, okay,
I just tried to mesmerize how my mom used to cook.
okay,
And I
okay.
did that thing, and कॉलेज के सीनियर भी आए हुए थे. They were like कि यार तेरे को तो शेफ फालतू का शेफ बन चीजें. It's like कि I was like कि फिर मेरा cousin, my one of the cousin, he was in Dubai, and I always
Gotcha.
throughout my since my childhood I was having a dream of going abroad.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah, I have to settle in abroad and everything. So I was like कि hospital. I did that thing. I told my father. He told okay आप कर लो, and I did that thing. I went to Mauritius. So I worked with a lot of Indian. मतलब I've done my basically I would say on job training with a lot of renowned hotels like Taj Rambagh property in Jaipur, and the Hilton with the Oberois, the training. So at that moment of time, what I have seen, कि India में I would say कि it's like much more हमको दिखते तो हैं 5 star hotels, it's a fancy sort of thing, but actual में it is not. Fancy बनाने के लिए there is a lot of people's hard work which is involved in that thing.
Okay.
And that's how, and जितनी
Okay.
so when I worked India में time fix नहीं था, and I worked during the Christmas time, it was like 20-22 hours की continuous shift we have to do.
Yes, sir. बहुत
So it was like very much tiring, and मुझे फिर पता चला कि abroad में तो 8 घंटे की shift है, उसके ऊपर ओवर टाइम मिलता है. I was like good. And internship में we were getting paid. So I went there, and वहाँ पे Mauritius is a country where 50% are Indians. I would say 50, more than
अच्छा
50% are Indians. So it was like कि I went there, चीजें हुई. I work with the lot of resort. फिर उसके बाद सारे कभी F&B में भी काम करना पड़ा, And the COVID came, I would say कि अगर
got it, got it. Great. So last question before we wind up, because we are almost out of time. So it was a great session by talking to you. So any piece of advice to our listeners who wanted to start their career in HR, what skills or qualities are essential?
because I was getting some calls.
Pause हो गया. Okay. So मेरा question ये था कि so first of all, thank you, Dashin Raha, about you and your life and about your journey as well, right? So what is the last advice you would like to give our listeners? Yeah. कोई
That
कोई हाँ.
so sorry, Praful. Actually, I just got some delivery partners,
No worries. ठीक है. So last question ये है ऐसे भी. So for our listeners who are interested in a career in HR, what skills or qualities are essential to become a successful recruiter or a successful HR person?
But the first thing I would say to the listeners, is try to understand, try to keep yourself into the candidates or the employee face, if you want to grow your career into a TA or into that. We do have a lot of, the things. So I would say it's a power, we can change someone's career basically by making them selected or rejected. Never try to be that much harsh, कि हम किसी reason की वजह से or some sort of mentality of our own personal belief. And the thing is, कि को अगर you have to be understand कि while you are into this profession, whether you want to be a TA or into the HR, ऐसा मत करो HR में काम आराम का होता है या बाकी चीजें हैं. That's the reason we are an HR. Choose the profession what you love the most, and the third thing is never ghost any candidate. So this is the best practice what I do believe, into my career when I was working as a recruiter, whether it's a candidate is selected or rejected, I try to, give the feedback to everyone. Whether it's about shooting a bulk mail, whether it's about, I have received any candidate, if I have personally taken any interviews of any of the candidate, I would try to give them a feedback at that same moment of time, and, let them know whether if their roles and responsibilities are not getting aligned that much as for what we are looking for, or it's about, whether it's about they are rejected on the basis of their communication or about any other factors, So it's better, कि आप बता दो उनको, हो सकता है the next 5 or 10 minutes I will feel bad as a candidate, but somewhere or other, if I'm eagerness to find a job or, I want to grow my career somewhere, I'm going to implement that thing in my life, and it might help me, in achieving the next thing of my career journey.
So with this, thank you so much, Abhay. It was really an interesting discussion about your career, about your journey, and thank you for your time. And